What is happening with China's electric vehicle market? How much is Uber investing in autonomous vehicle charging hubs? Can Europe build its own batteries? This is the Automotive Update, presented by Autovista24. Hello and welcome to the Automotive Update. I'm Tom Geggus, the editor of Autovista24, here with the big automotive news stories from the last 7 days. Last week, we explored which brands had the biggest EV volumes globally and in Europe across 2025. But now it's time to talk about China. So please welcome Autovista24 special content editor, Phil Curry. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Tom. Great to be here as always.
So it might seem like an obvious question, but why is China such an important market for us to track?
Well, China's influence on the global electric vehicle market is huge. EV volumes data shows that the country accounts for 59.1% of battery electric vehicles and 70.3% of plug-in hybrids sold in the world during 2025. Alongside that, numerous Chinese car makers are branching out into other markets, so tracking the best-selling models and brands in China can give us a look at the potential performance of these vehicles in Europe, alongside glimpses of what they may offer to buyers. So it's a really important market for us to focus our attention on.
But it wasn't exactly plain sailing for China's EV market last year, was it?
No, and that is mostly down to the performance of the plug-in hybrid sector. The market struggled in 2025 with declines every month from July onwards, according to the latest data from EV volumes that was published on the 30th of January 2026. This left it with a 4.2% increase compared to the whole of 2024, and that was thanks mostly to strong performances at the start of the year. December, for example, saw a 4.2% decrease in sales. Battery electric vehicles, on the other hand, performed much better, with a total year-on-year increase of 27.6% in 2025. However, December only saw a 4% increase in volumes, the lowest improvement since June 2024, according to the latest data. That meant that in the last month of 2025, the total EV market grew by just 0.5%. Over the year, figures were up 17.5%, with more than 13 million deliveries.
So then, what contributed to the plug-in hybrid vehicle decline?
One of the biggest reasons for the slowdown in plug-in hybrid numbers is the decline of BYD. The car maker is a dominant force in China and made up nearly 33% of the country's total plug-in hybrid sales in 2025. But the brand has struggled, with its overall electric vehicle deliveries, including battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, down 9.9% year on year. While 7 of the top 10 best-selling plug-in hybrids in 2025 were BYD models, only one, the Song L, recorded growth.
What does all of this mean for 2026, Phil? What could happen with China's PHEV market this year?
It is difficult to tell at present, but looking at the December totals, there were 4 models in the top 10 that were fairly new. That is to say, they were launched in 2025. 2 of these were BYD models, the C-Line 6 and the Seal 5, while the most impressive performance came from the Fangshen Baotai 7, which took the runner-up spot for the second month in a row, having launched in September 2025. The Ato M8 also impressed and made the overall top 10 for 2025, placing 7th. So these are potentially models to watch as we continue into 2026.
And what did EV volumes data reveal about trends in the BEV market?
China had a new best-selling battery electric vehicle in 2025, the Geely Geely Xingyuan. It dominated the market across the year, but interestingly, its 5.8% market share by the end of 2025 was much lower than the 7.6% that the Tesla Model Y achieved when it won the title in 2024. That suggests that the BEV market in China is becoming much more diverse, but buyers in China are also choosing domestic brands as options increase. The Model Y, for example, ended 2025 in 3rd place with an 11.4% decline in volumes compared to 2024. It was beaten by the Wuling Mini, which took 2nd place. Interestingly, the Geely Geonzing one only went on sale late in 2024 and is arriving into the European market as the Geely EX2. It will be interesting to see how it gets on against the established BEV brands of Tesla and BYD.
Thank you very much, Phil. To read up on 2025's winning EV models and brands, just head to the show notes. There you'll find links to our global, European, and Chinese EV market coverage. But if you want to stay one step ahead and get insights like these sent directly to your inbox, just sign up for our email. You'll find a form at the bottom of our homepage. And check out our YouTube channel as well. We have explainer videos, launchport insights, and webinar recordings. Our next live webinar is called Europe's Auto Forecast 2026. It will take place on the 1st of April, so make sure you're signed up. And of course, subscribe to the AutoVista 24 podcast wherever you listen to us. Tesla has avoided a 30-day suspension of its dealer and manufacturer license in California. But how? Well, the brand is halting its use of the term autopilot in its vehicle marketing in the state. In December last year, the Department of Motor Vehicles adopted the administration law judge's proposed decision that Tesla's use of the term autopilot to describe its advanced driver assistance systems is, quote, misleading and violates state law. While navigating the suspension will avoid major complications for the carmaker in the state, it will be frustrating as it looks to become an autonomy and robot-focused company. Uber Technologies will invest more than $100 million into autonomous vehicle charging hubs, according to Reuters. This means DC fast charging stations at its fleet depots and locations throughout priority cities. This is expected to begin in Los Angeles Bay Area as well as Dallas, before hitting other hubs. Uber is also going to be working with charge point operators to establish something called Utilization Guarantee Agreements. This will effectively support the rollout of hundreds of new chargers in cities across the world. For example, the company will work with Electra in Paris and Madrid, Ionity in London, and EVgo in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Boston. Leasing provider Ayvens has launched a new EV charging offering. Ayvens Power promises customers in the Netherlands access to over 1 million charging points across Europe, spanning different operators. They'll get real-time availability and pricing details before arrival. Meanwhile, a fleet portal is going to provide charging insights, cost visibility, and reporting tools. The charging solution is set to roll out in France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, and the UK later this year. Now, to batteries. Jan Vincent, CEO of the Automotive Cells Company, otherwise known as ACC, has published a statement about battery manufacturing. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is quite run-of-the-mill. However, this statement is anything but. It does commit to the shift towards EVs, as you might expect, talking about the transition as an inevitability, pointing to the lowering of barriers to entry as proof. But at this point, Vincent asks who is going to make batteries for European cars. He asked, quote, Asian players, particularly Chinese giants, as is already the case for 99% of them, at the risk of putting the strategic independence of European car manufacturers solely in the hands of BYD, CATL, LG, etc. After reaffirming his confidence in the company's 2,300 employees, he addressed some hard truths. First, the ramp-up of ACC's Gigafactory in Hauts-de-France is taking longer and costing more than anticipated, weakening the company's financial position, but that the goal was too close to give up on. Second, the EV market's growth is slowing, with some carmakers suffering from uncertainty, directly impacting ACC. Third, the battery maker is favouring suppliers from within the EU wherever possible. And finally, that given the current context, building new gigafactories in Germany or Italy would be, quote, totally irresponsible. This left Vincent to state that we have repeatedly said that the European battery industry is at a turning point in its young history, and this is now the case. A big thank you to AutoVista 24 special content editor Phil Curry for appearing in and co-producing this episode. The music was Better Find a Solution Fast by Richard Ames. Thank you very much for listening to the AutoVista 24 podcast.